Hey, this is Philip, and welcome to the Melatonin Application Tour. This application is probably the most different of all of the applications from any other application as well. The first thing, and most noticeable, is that it's in portrait mode instead of landscape, and there are also significant differences in the way the folks were going to use this app as well, because the workflow of it was a little bit different. It was an app that they're going to use to go in and do things after they've actually already been with the subject, as opposed to being right there and handing it to the subject. So the design was a little bit different. As you can see, it has the same standard things, the door on the left-hand side at the bottom, the little cog to go into settings. Those things all work the same. So let's take a look at the next part of the application, which is, of course, the next screen. This is a table, and this table is similar and different. It has information. It lets us know what the status of that information is. But you'll also notice that there is a submit button, as well as having all the information at the top. There is a submit button in the lower right hand corner. So let's click on new, and in doing that we'll get the cap screen. This is a little bit different. This one scrolls up and down even though the buttons stay fixed at the bottom, and the fields scroll up and down depending on when you click on them when you go to edit them. The cap number is a variable number. You can put in anything you want. We've also got a picker here. We've got several different pickers. You'll notice that these all look perfect. That's because we're in portrait mode, and all the pickers work perfectly in portrait mode, including these, which were custom pickers that only could show the numbers in 2400 hours, but we couldn't have AM or PM, and they were built a little bit differently. We also built in something to test, so that if you tried to enter an end time before the start time, you couldn't do that. Now here's something really cool that I want to show you. I've got to spend a second to spin things up. I'm going to set this up because it has to be done a certain way, otherwise you get all the alerts. I'll set the finish time really late here. And now I'm going to set my start time into the 2300th hour or 2300th hour. And I'm going to spin this all the way back so that the start time in theory will be before, or rather the finish time in theory will be before the start time. And there you have it. Why do we allow this? It's because in theory they could start a trial at 23:54 and finish it at 2 past 12 in the morning. So we had to allow for that kind of condition. The rest of the things are standard, a couple of radio buttons, yet another picker that we built for them. And then we allow the user who's a lab tech to store it and then exit, because this is part of their standard workflow. So we'll go back in, and now you'll see, if we go to the table screen again, that the item is there. It shows its status as being stored, and we're going to submit the data, exit out of the application, once again part of the workflow as defined by the client for the project, and now you can see that the status is there. So this application, really different compared to the other ones. Only one screen as opposed to multiple screens, but on this screen we have a lot of different inputs. We've got all the different custom pickers that we built. We have the custom pickers that we built for the 2400 hour clock. That's something that's not anywhere else in the Apple world, and it was really tricky to do because we had a whole lot of conversions to do, taking those, they're essentially text, turning them into, taking values assigned to the text, turning it into seconds since the epoch, and then adjusting the time as well for that to come up with the number of seconds correctly so that it can be converted into the right time, and then stored out on the server correctly so that there would be data integrity the whole way. So that's the Melatonin app. I hope you enjoy taking a quick tour of it, and we look forward to doing something cool like this for you sometime really soon. Thanks for stopping by.